Yeah, so thanks for coming. This is just a public information meeting about the Rose Street and Cedar Street improvements project. So today, I think we're going to talk a little bit about meeting the project team that's working on this and a little bit of background and overview of the project, a walkthrough of the conceptual design, kind of the upcoming schedule, and then we'll have a period for public input and question and answers.
I want to interrupt to say welcome because we've been involved in this project for over 6 years and you all are new, so welcome to this.
Yes. I was actually, thinking that. Thank you.
Oh, there's handouts?
Oh, yeah, sorry, right
sorry,
behind you.
There's.
So a little bit of the project team. I know there's been some other iterations with DPW, but right now we've got me. My name is Jack Keller. I'm the project manager for the city for Department of Public Works. This is Corey Mims, project advisor. He didn't get the memo about blue shirt, gray pants for the rest of the team. And then Ashley Walenti, who's just walking in, is the water resources aspect manager advisor. Then with the Vermont Agency of Transportation, VTrans, we have Scott Gurley as project manager. He's not here tonight. And then Du Bois and King, our designer. We've got Chris Lathrop as the project manager engineer. So I think you guys all know the project area, but this is our limits here, if you can see. The limits span from North Champlain Street through the Rose and Cedar intersection up past La Fountain to Elmwood Ave. And most of the work is within Cedar Street and then the intersection of Rose Street and Cedar as well. So the project goals are, we want to address neighborhood concerns about transportation safety, which has been kind of an ongoing discussion for several years now. Also, while we're at it, improve 8 years, improve stormwater management, and then while we're at it, updating neighborhood infrastructure. So we kind of put together, the city, before my time, put together a kind of conceptual plan based on preferred concepts from a meeting that I think you all were probably involved with in 2023. And we've taken that and kind of moved forward with it. So in terms of traffic calming, Rose Street was identified as a priority location for traffic calming back in the late 90s. And the original traffic calming structures that were put in place there, the raised intersection at Rose Street and Cedar Street, are outdated and sort of create more issues to the area. So this project is adjusting the geometry of that intersection by adding curb extensions and a rain garden, which kind of fits with the curb extensions, but is also a stormwater aspect. And then removing the raised intersection to normal, at grade, normal pavement with no slippery paint or anything like that. So this also will work in conjunction with the Water Resources Old North End Retrofits project. Ashley can speak to this a little more, but we are planning on installing infiltration chambers and rain gardens along with our other improvements, and those will kind of decrease the runoff that are entering the combined sewer system, which is kind of an overall goal for water resources and stormwater. So I believe last year the city applied for and was awarded a $600,000 TAP grant from VTrans for this work, and that applies to the pedestrian improvements and the stormwater aspects of the project. And then Cedar Street has also been on our list for a while for paving, resurfacing, and also sidewalks. So we are planning on just kind of bundling this city-funded work with our grant-funded work so that it's kind of once through, getting construction out of the way in one go, and also just kind of a overhaul of the entire area to upgrade the existing infrastructure. So it'll be new sidewalks along Cedar Street, new pedestrian ramps, and new pavement. So now we can do a little quick walkthrough of the conceptual plans that D&K have provided us. And we've been working through this for a couple months and just got kind of the most up-to-date version last week. So if you look at this here, this is page 1 of the conceptual plans. These gray limits are the paving limits. And it goes kind of curb to curb along Cedar Street, up a little ways past the existing raised intersection on either side on Rose Street, and continues up Cedar. These here on the northwest and southeast corners of the intersection are curb bump outs that are designed to constrict traffic flow and is a traffic calming measure, and also can double as a stormwater feature. This one on the southeast corner is going to be a rain garden, so it'll collect runoff that will allow it to infiltrate into the ground. It's also kind of a good, more aesthetic thing. It usually has like, oh, sorry, it's the,
not showing up, Jack.
oh,
This
my
one here is gonna be
mouse.
the rain garden.
Where's the other one that's currently temporary on the north side? That's the.
Well, are we waiting until the end to like give the feedback?
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind,
Yeah.
we could run through the concept as developed,
Although you
and
have
then
to leave.
I have to leave, but I'm just asking, I see a small little bump out in front of in the corner of Jeannie's house, but there's currently a temporary bump out on the Rose Street side of Jeannie's house that I don't see.
This
I
here,
can
or,
talk more about.
It's
Okay.
it's a mirror of that, but north, and it's
oh, up here?
No, one.
right there.
Okay.
It's currently what we've asked for and what's there is a temporary bump out, and I don't see it in this plan, that's why I'm asking.
Okay. Yeah, we can
Right
adjust that.
now, I mean, should I tell you what temporarily we have right now?
I think I know. Is it a like bollards out into the?
It's several planters, but there's like 6 of them that, there's other corners that you don't have. Pretty much every corner has a bump out,
Okay.
but
3 quarters.
3 corners.
I can show you.
Sorry, I wish we had a point too.
So there's planters here, there's planters here. I can't remember if they're still there, no, but there's definitely some here as well.
Okay.
So right here is my driveway, and there's a don't park from here down to the curb. But that parking spot is, that no parking sign has always been there, because if you're at this stop sign, you cannot see if somebody is here, if somebody parks there.
Yes.
And people often park there because there's room. There's
But there is
room.
a no parking.
And everybody does it anyway.
Okay.
But that was, this whole thing would flood. So the flood, and that's part of like the new infrastructure, I'm sure. But the flood would be pretty much back to here, up to here.
Okay.
Because this is raised, none of the storm drains would actually capture them. I call them decorative.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. We can talk a little bit more about that in just a moment.
I was trying to see from this though, because I want to make sure I'm reading this correctly. Like, is Champlain is on the left,
Yes.
Manhattan is north, and North Street is south.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, sorry, when I clipped it, I think I missed the north arrow, but
I did
just up is north.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Jeannie-
did
Yeah.
Jeannie's
North Street being
confused.
north.
Okay, yeah.
Her house is here.
Sorry, I totally messed that
That's
up.
what I was asking. Her house is here,
Okay.
and there's a bump out here, and it's currently not represented here, but there are the
The
temporary
planters.
planters here.
Okay.
So they've been erased in this plan. But they're visibly, and we've asked for
In
them to be
place now.
in place now in this spot. They're also here, which is correct, and they're also here, which is correct.
And then up, right across the street from my house. Straight down. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
No, no worries. Sorry, I should have explained the.
So, everybody that has dyslexia, my presentation was correct.
Yeah, so north is straight up, just, yeah, like on a regular atlas. So continuing, this is the intersection And then going up Cedar Street. Oh, here's some close-ups, some blow-ups of the bump outs. So this is the geometry of the bump out you saw on the left, on the west leg of the intersection. Coming up and restricting this. And then this is a bump out that also serves as a rain garden. So water.
The one on the right.
The one on the right. Oh, yeah.
You can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so the one on the right is a rain garden, which is a curb bump out that comes out into the road, and then water flows along the curb line into there and infiltrates into the ground. And then continuing on to the east down Cedar Street to Left Fountain, that intersection will be, all the pedestrian crossings will be upgraded along as well as the sidewalk throughout all of this. And it'll be regraded and repaved. And then the blue circle you see is around the stormwater infiltration system that will be installed below ground. You won't see it, but it's there to catch water and infiltrate it.
Are you notifying everybody that lives on the street because, everybody's pipes are so integrated? Mine got broken when they replaced a fire hydrant or did some drain work, and it was like a $7,000 bill. But part of that was because of the digging and paving. So I know that some other neighborhoods, when they're tearing up the street, they're like, everybody call EP, wastewater, whatever, and get your pipes replaced with plastic if they're actually still in existence, not really replaced.
Yeah.
Actually, like, get a pipe.
Yeah, so we put out that, we put out that notification before. So the paving portion of this is essentially going to be operated like the city paving program, which we go out beforehand and notify all the residents about, this is the time to replace any water services you have, especially if we know that it's old or not there. And we try to get in and do that beforehand, before all the work comes through, and so that we don't have to redig into new, fresh road. And all of this will be done, obviously, before the paving, and it'll need to be kind of a big excavation area. And since we're doing that, like, we would have to pave this anyway, so we decided to just continue it on through the whole area.
But yeah, this is all being wrapped up before any of the work that we do in the ground happens. This notification is going to go out to all homeowners to take the responsibility to due diligence, to take a look at what their infrastructure exists and work with the city on any of the assets that may need to be upgraded or modified. And then, to what Jack had said, it's just, we want to give everyone a chance, because again, we want end of this, everyone to be happy, both on your side as well as the city side, with a nice new asset and water features that we are happy to implement. So,
so that's kind of the basic rundown of the conceptual plans. We can return to this during the Q&A session, but to give you the broad overview. So moving forward, right now we're in the conceptual plan development phase. We're just about to submit that to VTrans. And we're doing our public informational meeting to get feedback and to inform residents about the project and kind of the direction we're heading. Moving forward, we have a NEPA process and preliminary plan development. So we have to submit our plans, our conceptual plans, to NEPA. There'll be a whole review. Sorry, all these acronyms, I start to just, think everybody knows them. So then that process will take several months. And during that time, we'll also have our conceptual plans reviewed by VTrans and internally. Then we'll move on to preliminary plan development, which is just, moving forward with more details. And then that should be wrapping up. The plan is now about this coming February of 2027. The next few months will be the final in plan development, and then finalizing that, putting out to bid, and finally construction in the summer of 2028. Yeah. So this is my information down the road. If anybody has any questions or concerns, feel free to email me. I meant to put my phone number on there too, but I can give that out later. In the meantime, I think we can start with some Q&A and comments. Yes.
I'm gonna squeeze in just for my 2-minute mark. Can you put the screen up there again of the map?
Yes, of the intersection.
So what's a little bit disappointing is that the things that we've talked about with previous rounds hasn't been conveyed to this map. Mm-hmm. Which is the focus here is on Cedar Street, but we're also wanting since 1990, we are still wanting traffic calming on Rose Street, which we've been asking for quite a long time. And one of the ideas was that at one point that we could do a rate that we asked for, or I remember asking for, is that one of these crosswalks could be raised so that it could be not the whole surface of that intersection that is raised and causing drainage problems, but a pedestrian crossing that could be raised to slow cars down, because the cars are speeding. They are not actually speeding from Rose and from Cedar, because there's this awkward intersection. They are speeding north to south, and we had a death on this intersection with the raised slick red paint from a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. We've had a hit and run at the top of the intersection on Manhattan from a speeder at night hitting somebody. And so the concerns I have is that this thoroughfare is only slowed by this, mm-hmm. where we'd ask, and we have currently that. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So I'd like that to go back as it is there now and as we've requested, so that it's slowing, pinching this thoroughfare on this longer stretch of road from north to Manhattan. The stretch from Cedar to north is not as long. They can get a much bigger acceleration to get to Manhattan. So that is my request. And
okay.
I think we've asked that before, and I'm just a little bit surprised that it doesn't make it into the design.
I honestly think that should be the rain garden, because it's closer, like that part.
Thank you.
Part of Cedar Street has never flooded. And I know it's probably because that part isn't raised, but I don't know what's going on with how the water flows, but that bump out that isn't there, but really should be, mostly out of safety, because you can't see, if somebody does park there, you can't see if somebody is stopped at the stop sign north of that. So if they're traveling towards North Street on Rose, and somebody is stopped on Cedar Street traveling towards North Champlain, mm-hmm. you can't see the person, that car at that stop sign if there's a car in the way. So not only is that going to slow down folks, but it's going to make it so nobody can park there and block that view. And I'm thinking it should be, I think of all the bump outs, that should be the rain garden, because that, in my mind, deters speeding the most.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, and we're talking about, sorry, just to get it reoriented, but so you're talking here,
yeah,
and you were talking about the flooding or puddle area.
Yeah,
there's actually up
down
here or down.
More like on Cedar Street. It's basically, okay. I don't know why it's in front of my house.
Yeah. I think that
I don't know if you got to see some of the pictures, but it gets up. It has gotten up to 3 feet. Mm-hmm. Like it went to the top of my porch one time.
I think drainage issues will certainly be. That's one of the things that we're working to mitigate with this, and I think it'll be graded to way that drains. And I mean, our stormwater team is working with us, and we're going to get it at least off of the street.
Where it is now definitely could use some greenery.
Yeah.
Because there's never been trees able to grow. I helped get some grants for trees years and years ago, and worked with Warren Spinner, former arborist. And he said that because the sidewalk was so close to the street, there wasn't like a green, whatever. We call it a green belt. Everybody has a different name for it. It wasn't a large enough green belt to actually grow trees on that side of Cedar. So I'm all for a green garden if that's, something. But that bump out has to be more substantial on the traveling north Rose Street side, where you're pointing.
Okay.
No matter what, that has to happen.
And duly noted. And so we're talking about the northeast corner. Is you?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm hard
Yeah.
to direct.
No, I know. I'm sorry, and it's hard to remember.
Top
right.
Okay, thank you. And yeah, and I'll also kind of review. Like I said, I'm a little bit new to this project. I was involved in the original meetings that you all had.
The pinching
Certain
of the
scoping,
intersection at Rose really, we, after mulling over all of the issues that have happened, we saw multiple benefits, not just about traffic calming, not just about drainage. It's also, that's the point where people cross the street too. And we are a block away from a school. We thought about like the shortened pedestrian, the fact that we were thinking maybe even where you cross is a little bit closer to Cedar, where you cross over Rose. So this way, because we're just afraid that people cannot see us if there's cars or whatever at one stop sign, especially if you're not familiar with this wacky intersection.
Yeah.
So yeah, people don't do a full stop. They start to turn thinking they're just gonna make a quickie onto Cedar, and then they're like, oh, people are crossing Rose Street.
Yeah.
Related to the drainage, does the ponding occur near the existing catch basin there, or is it completely away from it?
Well, there's one that's above. I mean, it's like so on top that
On
it's
the red surface.
It's on the red surface, so that's completely.
So it's not making it around the corner to Cedar Street where you have a catch basin.
It does sometimes. It does sometimes, but that only really happens when, at some point, the one which is directly in front of my house, which is the northeast, north side of Cedar Street, it'll get clogged. The debris just fills it up like immediately.
Gotcha.
Hi, Jake.
Okay. Thank you. That's good to know, and we'll definitely take those comments into consideration here. Does anybody else have any questions or thoughts? Sorry, welcome. Sorry, we just got a new attendee.
I guess I'm just wondering, is there another review process before it's considered a final plan?
I'd have to double check right now we're in conceptual plans, so we do have a lot of development to go. Before we get to final plans, sorry, do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I would say generally speaking, conceptual plans is kind of a big lift of this is the idea that we're taking forward. This, we're preparing to take into the NEPA process. Generally speaking, when you go into the NEPA process, you're having your selected alternatives, you're showing what the impacts are, and your ability to modify from there is significantly reduced as you go through the federal process. So I would ask Chris if you're able to, with regards to some of the smaller details, the flexibility of, let's say, raised versus not raised intersection, or a bump out at the northeast or south, is that how flexible are we at this point?
I think we have the flexibility because it's within the existing disturbed area that we're talking about, right? If it fell outside of that, that would be a completely different issue. I'd have to go back to review.
Yeah. So I think we do have a little bit of play here, but again, it comes down to we definitely want to make sure all the pieces work together. So it's not just this is what works for the pedestrians, but this is also what works for the cars. This is what works for the stormwater.
Yeah.
So while we understand and hear kind of what you all as residents are seeing and would like to see, we are, again, taking that with regards to these other features that are also incorporated in this federal funding that we have to make sure that we can get all those pieces to go as best as we can.
Yeah.
So I would say that generally from the NEPA process of where we are with this, we were not anticipating at this point having another larger community prior to submission to get that started, because it does take the time it takes to go through that process. But knowing that in the NEPA, it's your area of impact, kind of as Chris was saying, and it is the features that you're looking to install and kind of how would those impact this area. I think that allows us a bit of flexibility then to tweak these things to better dial this into what is going to work best for the community as well as the infrastructure.
Yeah.
I mean, I do wonder if that bump out was on the northeast side of Cedar. I wonder if the other ones were all there kind of as they are, if it was in addition to, if like a car really could even drive through there.
Well, that's, yeah, and that's what
Major
we,
consideration we have when we do these rain gardens is they're great for traffic calming, but we want to make sure, additionally for fire and emergency services, we need to make sure we have enough clearances within the roadway for that. So there may be a pinch point where it's just not feasible because of those, but it's certainly something that we can take a look at.
If that is the case, I would really like to see the rationale behind all of that, safety wise or whatever. I just want to know. I mean, I get it. Like, building a new bathroom, like you just can't put a pipe anywhere you want.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
Trust me. It would make my job a lot easier. Unfortunately, there are limitations, but it's definitely something that we can take a look at and see what can make the most sense based off of the comments.
And I think if some of those bump outs that we were talking about can't be accommodated, I think it would be outside of the scope of this project, but I think some other traffic calming on the inside of Rose Street would then especially need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my point is, I'm not saying in addition to a larger bump out on the northeast side, I'm saying I would think that would be the priority of all of the bump out possibilities. I would think that would be a priority. But that's just me who's lived on that corner for 26 years talking. I feel like I have an educated idea about why that's logical and makes lots of sense, but I don't know. I'm obviously biased because that's my corner.
Yeah.
no, we hear it. And that's part of what we're also put to balance is, again, rain gardens require a certain amount of space to be able to have the volume retention. And some of these bump outs, and again, I can't speak from measurements, but vary in the widths and what the intent of them is. And so it might not work to have a bump out and also have it be a rain garden depending upon the turn movements that need to be made there. Understanding it's trying to restrict and kind of slow traffic. So again, we will take another look at just kind of the location and the justifications for why we have them in that location, whether it be turn movements or other features, line of sight, that are the concerns. But
I'm really surprised that wasn't like such a priority because because these no parking signs. When people get towed, I get to hear all about it. But I'm just really surprised that that's not, because it's posted. It's very well posted. It's very much ignored. But I'm just really surprised that.
Sorry, we're surprised about what portion?
About how the line of sight, how the bump outs aren't in this design based on like where we've had those temporary planner type things, because the line of sight has been such a factor in my mind of safety and traffic calming, so
well, when we do,
surprised.
when we do line of sight, generally speaking, line of sight is anticipating that citizens are law abiding and that you're not trying to design around a violation. So when there's a no parking zone identified, the line of sight anticipates that the green belt, the sidewalk, and that location along the curb line isn't parked. And so we don't take that into consideration when doing a line of sight. It is the physical features that are installed that we need to make sure are valid.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's obviously open for a bump out because nobody can park there.
Yeah,
So, when you start taking away parking spots,
Yeah.
I'm sure you know.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're all very familiar with those issues.
But no, so yeah, we'll be looking at that in a little more detail and just trying to reaffirm that what was being proposed is going to be serving the purpose and needs that we are looking for based upon this entire project.
To let you know, people have actually moved the planters with their cars so that new cars can fit. And they've gotten put back and then
Are you talking about on the Rose Street side? Oh, I don't get to see those ones. But that's
I'm
crazy.
sure you've noticed it across the street from your house.
Yeah,
like
on Cedar Street.
the people who like to block our neighbor's driveway.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so frustrating.
I guess if I can interject, sort of talking about the idea of raised crosswalks, even bigly, where I see the cars running frequently is going west from Elmwood all the way down to Cedar, and then they take that corner really fast when they turn to either go north on Rose or continue on Cedar. And I don't know, just that intersection of La Fountain and Cedar, people just blow right through that. Just something to know.
There's speed bumps on either side of Rose Street, so people know that they can cruise through Cedar Street, Rose Street without having to deal with any speed bumps.
You're talking about on Elmwood and North Champlain, the speed bumps?
North Champlain and La Fountain.
Oh, the fountain, yeah.
And people are, the main goal is to get to the Beltline.
Mm-hmm. It's good to know as well.
I think we're having a school board city council thing at VHS on the 27th. We will, I think it's being scheduled. I got an email today.
This is different. Oh, this one is the next street
Continuation of the
Yeah.
Cedar Street paving, sidewalk, curb improvements, and
Sorry, I can
subsurface stormwater
show you kind of the whole project area. So it'll be from North Champlain to Elmwood.
I see.
Sorry, go
So
ahead.
this is maybe a little off topic of this, but I'm on Elmwood Ave, and when we got all the stuff about the interesting parking setup. I thought I recalled somebody saying, or some of the publications saying that there was going to be a stop sign on Cedar going on to Elmwood Ave.
Mhm.
I have not seen that. And I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you have kids there all the time and just don't stop, just go right on to Elmwood Ave. I mean,
Yeah, and that's something we did notice, and I talked to our planning team about it a little bit. And there are a lot of small residential streets in the city, especially when they come to a T intersection. It's an implied stop. And often they won't have those stop signs. But if you had talked about it, that's an interesting thing. We can note that down, and
no, I mean,
it
I
could be a
thought that
possibility.
I thought I recalled that when the thing that got stuck on the door saying we're going to do this, this, and this, and I thought it said stop.
Oh, interesting.
I think it's been harder to see at that stop turning off of Cedar onto Elmwood since the parking change. So how will that be a stop sign?
Yeah, I can't like this. It's like, oh, that person's in my driveway.
I just don't understand, I'm a school board member, I just don't understand why, even if it is coming to a T, if you're a couple of blocks from a school, it should be mandatory.
Yeah.
That's crazy pants to me. Only a block away is, hopefully we can secure one where crossing guard is. So it's well traveled by students.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Well, yeah.
No, but say,
So,
yeah, again, it is not a requirement. It is part of it, but we can look at it and review.
Mhm.
So, again, if there's anything else, we are available to be reached out to. Jack's contact information, I believe, is on the little flyer there you have, or reach out to DPW customer service, and you can ask for Jack or myself.
And they'll just transfer. Yep.
So, I'm Charlie, I live in Worcester. So as far as this meeting is concerned, so you did not do this at the Ward 2 NPA because you had a time restriction or something?
A little bit, yeah. So I checked in with the NPAs, and they weren't having them for July or August. And we needed to get this going before we submitted to NEPA to begin kind of that review process.
Okay, so I have a quick survey question for the five of you. Would you rather have a smaller, intimate presentation the next time, or would you rather see this at an NPA meeting?
I think that this is good, and I get the time limit stuff, especially when it comes to like different kinds of approvals for, permitting, certification stuff, all that. Like, I get it. And I think it is also fairly helpful that some of the information is so historical, this is more than 8 years of a process for me. So being able to look at like how some things have finally come forward, like moved forward as far as the plan, and some things have not, being able to be like, we talked about this, let's get this on the books finally, kind of thing. So, but I do think that there would be, I don't know, if you guys need like legit input. The Ramble is happening the last Saturday in July, and Rose Street everybody's having yard sales. So there should be a lot of people, like if you need to table, or if you even want me to set up a table with more information and hand out stuff.
We're closing off LaFountain Street.
For the Ramble.
Is that a true story?
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm
not running it anymore.
I just got the thing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So the danger of having these smaller meetings is that it's unlikely. We're not busy this time of year, so it's easy to have me assigned to come over here and do this. I just have to mention it. But if it's at an NPA meeting, if this occurs at an NPA meeting, it always gets recorded and broadcast.
Yeah.
When you have these little intimate presentations, kind of depends on the time of the year, whether it gets recorded and broadcast.
Our intersection also has a Facebook group. Joey, are you on Facebook? I gotta go on that. So if you do have a recording, Charlie, I can put a link on there.
Yeah.
But I did share the information about this meeting, but this is just the time of year.
Also, the door was locked, and I only got in because some guy had a thing, so I let you in. And I said,
Yeah, just keep an eye on it. Who else out there letting people in?
Yeah. Well, thanks. We appreciate trying to rally the troops because, I think we would have maybe preferred to do the MPA meeting kind of a wider net, but for time constraints. And thank you for coming and helping out with the recording.
Definitely would have heard from more parents getting their kids to school. Main.
Yeah.
Rose Street and Cedar are every morning. Lots and lots and lots of kids, especially on bikes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for coming.